Hey y'all, I'm Melissa Guerra. I am the Kitchen Wrangler, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button because you know this is the place to find all of your favorite Texas recipes, my favorite Texas recipes, and it is an honor and a privilege to share these recipes with you from my studio here at the ranch. And today we're going to be making Enchiladas Suizas, which are also known as green enchiladas. But you know, how did they get this name, Enchiladas Suizas? Swiss enchiladas, because if you go to Switzerland, the folks there are not going to know what you're talking about. Why exactly are these Enchiladas Suizas? I'm going to make them from absolute scratch, but there are some hacks that you can use to speed up the process. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get started on our Enchiladas Suizas. So why are they called Enchiladas Suizas? They do have this beautiful little green sauce, which is made with tomatillo. And a tomatillo is kind of the cousin of a red tomato, but it has this little papery husk out on the outside that you have to peel off, and then you have to wash them to get the little sticky coating off of them. That's all natural and normal. That's just the way they are. But the Swiss part of the name, why do they call them that? Well, the little coffee shop in Mexico that originated this recipe, well, they recognize that Switzerland is very famous for their dairy products, for their cheeses, their creams. So they combined the tradition of an enchilada made with a tomatillo sauce with the fame of Switzerland, which is their dairy product. So there you get Enchiladas Suizas. The first thing that we need for our Enchilada Suiza is cooked chicken. Now I'm going to boil the chicken from scratch, but you know, if you want to cheat and you want to speed up the whole process, you can use rotisserie chicken, you can use leftover chicken. I wouldn't use fried chicken, but if it's boiled or baked or roasted or grilled, that is an excellent chicken to use for your Enchiladas Suizas. I'm gonna add this chicken to a pot. We're gonna add some onion, some carrots, some celery, some garlic, and I'm gonna put it on the stove to boil. While we're waiting for the chicken to cook, let's fix those tomatillos. Super easy. Now, if you find them at the grocery store, that's fantastic. Sometimes they are not all that fresh because a lot of people don't know what to do with them, but you do because you're watching my channel. So we're gonna peel off the outer husk and we're going to run them under water and kind of rub on the outer skin to get that sticky part off. Once they've been peeled and washed, we're gonna pop them into a cooking pot, cover them with water, and put them on the stove. Now, in the jalapeno section of your grocery store, a lot of times you can find canned tomatillos. Now, they don't have as great of a flavor as fresh tomatillos, but if you can't find fresh tomatillos, canned are awesome. I use them all the time, and you can skip the whole washing and peeling and boiling part because that's already been done for you. Just drain the can and you are good to go. Tomatillos, you have to watch them because they cook pretty quickly. When they turn from bright green to olive drab, you know that they are ready to go. These that I have on the stove, you can see they're kind of halfway there because they're half olive drab and half bright green. But once they're cooked, we're going to add them to the container of a blender along with a clove of garlic and a little salt and a little pepper. Puree them, but don't make a smoothie. I still like for it to have a little bit of texture. And be careful if you are using your blender and hot ingredients because sometimes it can pop, but I put mine on a slow speed and it doesn't pop so bad. Be careful. Now that we have our sauce, let's go back to our chicken. I'm just gonna remove a portion of it because all we need is about a pound of chicken. That's why I said this recipe is also really good for leftovers. I'm gonna take the chicken and shred it using 2 forks. We have our sauce, we have our chicken. Let's get started on our chicken filling. Saute a little onion in some olive oil, and we're gonna add some cream cheese, and this gives us a really nice creamy texture. Once the cream cheese is melted, we're gonna add the shredded chicken. Combine it well, and that's it for the filling. Now we have to prepare the tortillas for our enchiladas, and like I said, there are all sorts of hacks. You can hand make, homemade corn tortillas, absolutely, I do that all the time, but I have to say, I much prefer factory-made, store-bought corn tortillas when I'm making enchiladas because they're rolled very evenly, very uniformly, and I just like them better because they're very, very thin. I like them better for enchiladas. But it doesn't matter if you have homemade tortillas or if you have store-bought, you have to heat them up so they're really flexible so you can roll up those enchiladas. Today I'm gonna use my griddle to just heat them. It takes maybe about a minute or so, and then we're gonna store them in a clean kitchen towel so that they retain all of that important steam. The steam is what keeps it flexible. Sauce chicken, tortillas, we're ready to make the enchiladas. Maybe some people here in the United States think that an enchilada is part of a casserole, but it's really not. We like using casseroles because you can melt the cheese over a bunch of different enchiladas if you're serving your family. I mean, it's so much easier. Or you can plate them up individually. I'm gonna do both for you. So let's take one of those hot corn tortillas. We're gonna add some of our chicken cheese filling and roll it up really tightly and put them in your casserole with the seams side down. Once all the enchiladas are formed, we're gonna pour over the green sauce. Oh, looks so good. And I've grated some cheese. We have two types of cheeses that we're gonna use on our Enchiladas Suizas. I have a Mennonite style Mexican cheese, which melts really beautifully. I grated that up and we are gonna sprinkle that over the top. I also have some queso fresco and I've crumbled that so it's nice and powdery, but we're gonna save that to the end because that's gonna be our garnish. Once the enchiladas are in the casserole, cheese is on the top, we're gonna pop them under the broiler in the oven and let them top brown until they are just bubbly and perfectly brown. Those look perfect. Now, like I said, you can also do these on an individual plate. So just roll the enchiladas just like you did before with the casserole and pour over some of that green sauce. Just make sure the green sauce is really hot because then that will melt your cheese. Now in restaurants, they will make the enchiladas with the individual plate and then pop them under the broiler. But you know, a lot of times our home dinner plates aren't really great to put into the oven or under a broiler. So you kind of have to consider what kind of plate you're gonna use if you wanna top broil them. Now that the cheese is all nice and melty, let's sprinkle over that queso fresco and a little bit of cilantro. And of course, I forgot the sour cream, but you can always put sour cream on top of your Enchiladas Suizas. Oh, I love these. I love all of the recipes that I prepare. I hope you do too. And you know, make sure to hit that subscribe button because you know, it is just such a pleasure to share all of these recipes with you. All of my favorite recipes from here in Texas. I just love sharing them with you. Now, you know, if you have any questions or any requests, you can contact me at help@kitchenwrangler.com. Or you can message me through Twitter, through Instagram, through Facebook, through TikTok, or here on YouTube. I am here waiting to hear from you. I'm Melissa Guerra. I am the Kitchen Wrangler, and I'm looking forward to seeing you here at the ranch again soon. Bye now.